Hey guys, welcome back to the Art and Business of Writing podcast. I'm your host, Chris Jones, and with me is my co-host, author Kayla Thomas. So today, we're going to talk about daily habits to avoid burnout. And it's no secret that as writers, we're constantly pecking away at the keys, developing some habits that are counterproductive to our ability to write and stay fresh and be creative. But when a writer begins to burn out, things like doubt, depression, anxiety, and frustration begin to sit in, making us even more unproductive. It becomes a vicious cycle that can stifle out our work and our desire to create. So, Kayla, what's been your experience with burnout?
Well, as you know, because you and I kind of keep each other going, but I have had a few tough months of it this fall. And when I get burned out, it makes it hard for me to even sit down and work, even though that's like the best thing that I can do for myself. Just the focus and, like you said, doubt and anxiety and depression, it just kind of comes in there. And I'm a grouchy person, and I think that my husband and my daughter are real troopers because they continue. And that's unfortunate for them. But it's also a sign of that I need to take better care of myself.
I'm the same way, though, honestly. Like, my wife tells me that I'm very difficult to be around. I'm not very fun when I'm feeling that burnout, that I am irritable, and my kids know it. I just get caught in that trap of just, if I sit at the keyboard long enough, I just might become productive. And that's never, ever been the case. It will never, ever be the case. And then before long, I get depressed, and it's like a week, then 2 weeks, then a month goes by, and I'm like, I've got to snap out of this. And then I get bummed out because I just lost an entire month. So then I become even more bummed out. And it's like, oh my gosh, what a cycle this is. So today we're going to talk about, well, how do we as writers create daily habits to keep us from getting to this burnout break point? Because you've experienced it, I've experienced it, and we want to all be healthy, happy, and productive writers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got some habits here. We got about 6 of them. So the first habit is just be aware. And for me, awareness is about timing everything. I know a lot of people think that that's kind of wooden, but I think setting timers, I set timers for 25 or even 45 minutes with a 5 or a 15-minute break, and then with the alarm, and wait for the alarm to sound off. Sorry. And so I use an app called Tide, and I love it because Tide allows me to set my productive times and then my break times. And then Tide also tracks how you work and when you are the most productive, so that it'll tell you, hey, these are productive times of the day for you. You should be working now, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a really cool feature. But also just making sure that you take breaks. And that's part of being aware, knowing when you're starting to fatigue out. So take a break. You can stretch. There are some really cool 5-minute, 10-minute meditation podcasts. Maybe you can just sit down and just meditate for a little bit, kind of recenter yourself, get your focus back on. What are some ways that you practice awareness, Kayla?
Well, like you, I also set a timer. I've found that when I don't set a timer, which sometimes I don't, I just sit down and work, but generally I can't go past 40 minutes of sitting still and just being there, and I feel my focus start to wane. So generally I try to set it for 20 to 30 minutes so that I quit while I'm still in the focused mode. And I'll just cut off in the middle of a sentence or something because it's easier to pick back up rather than waiting until the end of a thought or the end of the scene where you totally have to regroup. So it's better to quit while you're still kind of absorbed, so it's easier to pick up. So yeah, and then because I don't want my focus to wander. And something about with the timer, knowing that I'm only there for a finite period of time means I'm not missing out on something else, or I shouldn't be doing something else. This is the allotted amount of time, so I can completely let go of the other worries and things of other stuff I feel that I need to do. And so having that boundary set makes a huge difference of being able to focus for that amount of time, and I'll probably double my productivity during that limited amount of time.
Yeah, no, easily. Yeah. It's a lot better to work with time than against time. Being able to use time as your ally as opposed to having a deadline breathe down your throat because you've waited so long to get to something. So, yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And then I start to begin to see certain interruptions as promptings that I need to stop. So I used to get really, really irritated when my kids would bother me while I was writing, but now I think about, well, okay, my kids are here. What am I working on? how am I doing with my productivity? If I'm highly productive, then I'll tell them to come back later that I'm very busy. But if I realize that I'm not productive, then I'll look at it, okay, maybe this is a welcome distraction. And then I'll go play a game with them, or I'll read to them, or I'll take them outside for a few minutes. And I always come back refreshed. And I feel like that's one of those divine appointments of, hey, you need to stop doing something and pay attention to something else for a little while. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see myself getting distracted even with, ooh, I need to go look this up for the story or whatever. And then the next thing you know, you've gone down the hole of the internet and forgot what you were doing.
Yeah.
When I'm really in the zone, I can leave myself a note within the writing, depending on what program you're doing. You can, leave a note anywhere and tell myself, research this later, and then keep on with the story. But if I'm not completely plugged in, I'll go, okay, I don't know what this is. I'm going to go look it up right now. And that's when I know I'm starting to break off and it's time to go do something else.
Definitely learn to take those cues and take your breaks. So, second habit is be active. You can't write all the time. And so you have to have an activity outside of writing, really to keep yourself engaged, to keep yourself fresh. I'm a runner. I enjoy running. I'll go out and I'll run for 30 minutes at a time. Or, days when I can't run because I've run a few times in a week, I'll meditate for 20 minutes. I'll sit down and just close my eyes and just do some breathing exercises to get myself, kind of back in a position where I can focus. But doing things that you enjoy doing. So inventory yourself. Think about whether you like to crochet or bike ride or do decorating, but finding a way to build in some sort of activity into your day-to-day so that you can stay fresh. What sort of activities do you get into?
Well, I'm a swimmer, so several times a week I go out to the pool, which gets me, indoor pool because it's freezing here right now. But what it does for me is I get a workout, which stimulates my mind, clears out the brain, and gets me ready to write when I come back. But I always run into people I know, so I get to visit. I'm an extrovert. It feeds me. I can see people. So, it's a social outing, and it's exercise, which is important. I also volunteer at my daughter's school, so I'm up there a few times a week and, just hanging out with the kids or visiting with the staff. Again, those extroverted things, or going out to coffee with friends or something like that. So for me, it's really about getting a little bit of physical in there, but also filling that social need that I have.
Yes, you ever hear that quote by Hemingway, being a writer is easy, all you do is sit behind a typewriter and bleed?
Yeah, I'd die.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have to be a hemophiliac. Stop the bleeding, get out, and do something. Cut the bleeding, or put the tourniquet on, get out, be active, because you need to preserve your best energy. And you need to find sources of interest that create new energy, because you can't sit down and write all day long. It just doesn't happen.
And then we need to be healthy. How do you stay healthy, Chris?
Knowing that it's just too easy to sit down and watch time pass by as a writer, because you get caught up in what you're doing. I get caught up in writing a story. I get caught up in research. I get caught up in wanting to find additional sources for stories, and I forget to even come up for food, water, and air. Funny story is that I've over caffeinated so many days because I don't get up. I'll sit there and just drink coffee and drink coffee and drink coffee, because I just feel like I need the stimulation. So I'm telling you that I'm preaching to the choir here. I need to practice a lot of what I preach as well. But being healthy is something I'm trying to get better at. So setting time to stop and just drink some water. Go outside, do eye exercises. So what I like to do is I like to stand up, I stretch, I do eye exercises. So I'll look at something really far away, then I'll look at things at varying distances just to stretch my eyes out, because I've been looking at a screen for so long. So being able to do that. I also carry snacks with me. That's something I've gotten in the habit of doing, because I don't like to work at home, because I've got tiny children who want to play with daddy all the time. So I carry snacks with me. I love those little 100 calorie packs. I'll carry those around with me, like almonds or granola bars or some other portable snack. And so I'll take snack breaks and I'll just eat. So during those 45-minute breaks on my timer, I'll drink something. Every 2 or 3 of those, I'll have a snack, or I'll stop for lunch. So you have to be sure to take care of your health, because if you're not taking care of your health, you can't produce good work, or any work at all for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. I can't do the caffeine like you do, or I would have a huge anxiety attack in front of my computer.
I can't do the caffeine like I do. I mean, I've had to since switch to tea because I can't coffee anymore right now. I'm afraid of like toxicity at this point, so I'm drinking tea.
There you go. Well, aromatherapy is also great. You can do things like peppermint in a diffuser or around your desk area to lift you up and wake you up, and it works a lot like, well, I shouldn't say a lot like coffee, but it is something that will lift you up without, tripping you out at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a snacker, but I'm at home. I also have celiac disease, so snacking is really a pain in the butt for me, so I just don't. But I think drinking enough fluids is good, and while it's good to keep something at your desk to sip on, I will oftentimes keep my water in the kitchen so that I have to get up off my chair and walk in the kitchen to get a drink of water. I might down the whole glass at that time, but it makes me move into the other room and break up. I also have 2 dogs that need, one more than the other needs to go outside regularly, so we make trips out into the yard, and those things break up. Or I know I talk a lot about laundry on this show. This is going to be like Kayla's laundry on the show, but I love doing laundry. But I time things around laundry, so I got to get up and switch the laundry around, or, go do something up at the school. So those are important. Then I also do take a lunch break, like official lunch break. My husband oftentimes comes home at lunch, and so occasionally we'll go out for lunch, but usually we heat up leftovers and we hang out together, and we actually have a game that we play called Hearthstone. It's a online card game thing, and so we'll play that at lunchtime, and it works your brain, but being something different that gets me ready to set into my afternoon writing sessions.
Oh no, that's great. And there's so much science that talks about just drinking water and the effect of dehydration on the body, and especially on the brain. So if you find that you're irritable, you're losing focus, you probably need to drink some water. All right, so the next habit is just being rested. Sometimes, I take naps in the afternoon. It's just, I've got that luxury. I'm a freelancer. I've got an entire schedule all to myself. So I think that there are times when I just feel tired. My mind is tired. My body feels it. So I'll take a short 15 to 20 minute nap once a day, maybe twice sometimes, depending on how long I'm going to work that day. I'll take one, like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and another one at 6 or 7 if I'm going to work later in the afternoon. But taking naps and being rested also helps you, because when you wake up from a nap, your mind is refreshed and you're pretty much reset. Do you nap, Kayla?
No, it takes me 5 to 20 minutes just to fall asleep.
It's so funny. Like when I tell people that I power nap, they don't get that. Like, I need 2 hours to sleep. I need 3 hours to sleep. Or if I take a nap, I just might as well go to bed. I'm like, I can take a nap at 7 o'clock at night and get up at 9, or 7 and get up at 8:30 and not think anything of it.
My husband could maybe be that way. I mean, some people are like a parakeet. You drop a cloth over its head and it goes to sleep. And yeah. I can't do that. I just can't relax. I mean, if I'm very, very tired, I can, but it's rare, and it's not, I don't always wake up a happy person from naps. I'm that grouchy little toddler that wakes up and then is just a pain in the butt to be around the rest of the day. So that might be when I do finally dig the caffeine out and pull my Diet Coke out of the fridge and get through the afternoon. The biggest thing for me would probably be able to fall asleep at night. I'm one of those people that has a hard time falling asleep. So back to, I think we've talked about it before, sleep hygiene of narrowing down your screens. I have an old-fashioned Kindle that isn't backlit, so I still have to, read it like I would a book. And my best night's sleep come when I go into the bedroom an hour or 2 before I actually need to sleep, and I will read almost that whole time. And also the physical activity we talked about before. If I'm getting enough physical activity, I'll also sleep better. That plays a huge role in me getting enough rest to wear myself out so I can actually sleep. So a lot of people make sleeping sound like this neat and tidy, easy thing to do, but not all of us are natural sleepers, and it's hard to get that sleep.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So the next habit 5, is just being playful, and which is taking time to have fun during your day. You don't have to go to the amusement park. You don't have to do anything outrageous, but something I enjoy doing is playing games on my iPhone. I'll download a couple like brain games on my iPhone, and I'll play puzzle games. Just they engage my mind, but it's not like the writing side. So I'll play different games, or I'll even play fun games. I've got like John Madden football on my iPhone. I'll play a football game, because I'm obsessed with winning. But
you're such a boy.
But I do crossword puzzles. I'll take silly online quizzes from time to time. So, but maybe you like to color or do puzzles or play tennis, but figure out a way that you can involve play, because I think that for me, I know for sure that when I'm active at play, when I'm having a good time, I tend to produce good work once again. How about you, Kayla? What are your thoughts on play?
Okay, I think play is very important, and I feel like it's something I am very lacking in, and I think a lot of moms are, because we're just always worried about getting stuff done, because if we're not doing our writing work, then there's something else around the house we should be doing. So I need to take a page out of your playbook. I do play Words with Friends here and there, because it's word nerdy, and then I mentioned, like, my husband's got me into Hearthstone, so I play that during lunch and sometimes during the evenings. But as far as like letting go, I will reward myself. I try really hard to be done with my writing by about 2:30, or at least to take a significant break. And so from 2:30 to about 3:10, that little bracket of time before as me finishing my workday and my daughter coming home from school, I try to sit down and read a novel, or not read it all in one sitting, but sit down and read for a little while. And then sometimes I have to go back to work when she gets here. So that's one of them. Or, if I'm just done with my eyes and focusing on things, I will totally treat myself to watching a couple of HGTV shows or something like that, because that's just me letting go. But yes, definitely needing some more play in my life.
Oh, yeah. No, I love HGTV. Gosh. Our next habit is something that you really like, which is to be giving.
Yes. And it really fills me up to give. So one of the things we were talking about is encouraging others, which is one of the reasons you and I are here, I feel like, is that we are encouraging others with our own personal experiences of being people living normal lives and trying to have a writing life at the same time. And it totally fills my cup. Or to encourage a friend that's having a hard time, or I have a very good friend who is going through her master's in nursing, or she's advancing her nursing degree. So she is also working and being a mom and all the things. And so being able to sit down for coffee with her and learn about what she's doing and, encourage her, those types of things totally inspire me and get me going. And you have some other ideas on here too that fall into that thing. But yeah, I'm a natural born cheerleader.
Nice. Yeah. Because I think that, because it's natural. When you encourage someone, you feel very encouraged. And when you feel very encouraged, you get excited about anything. So you're ready to go back. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to do some great work. But I like to text my friends. So I'll text my friends from time to time. I'll send them like some sort of inspirational meme or something, like, with some sort of motivational quote, sharing friends' books on social media, just being there for other writers, supporting other writers to share their books and get people excited about somebody else's book, giving value to other people, leaving a review, take the time to review a friend's book on Amazon, and then just compliment people that you come across. Just saying hi sometimes is enough. Just waving at people, being friendly is a really great way of giving to other people, and spreading the love and being kind. It makes you excited about life, and of course, when you get excited about life, you naturally get excited about what drives your life. And for all of us, it's writing. These are 6 great habits that you can employ to really avoid burnout, finding ways to integrate them into your day. You don't have to do all 6 at one time, but just pick a few that you get excited about. If you're ambitious and awesome and want to do all 6, have at it. But finding ways to just incorporate even 1 or 2 to start your week off, and then adding more as you go along until you've got them all, is a great way. So habit 1, just being aware of your surroundings. 2, being active, finding something great to do to use your time, whether it's running or swimming or whatever. 3, being healthy, making sure you take care of your own health while you're writing, because as writers, we sit a lot. We're spending a lot of time in front of our computers, so finding ways to make sure that we eat and we drink and we take care of ourselves. 4, making sure that we sleep well, whether it's good night's sleep or napping throughout the day, but sleeping helps our mind to stay fresh. 5, being playful, finding ways to enjoy your day while you're in your day. So whether that's playing games or doing puzzles or watching HGTV like Kayla likes to do. And 6, being giving, just being encouraging to somebody else, because when you give and add value to other people, it always comes back to you. So these are great tools to use. Again, implement them any way you can. And if you've got other great tools that you want to suggest, definitely leave them for us. We'd love to hear about some ways that you like to avoid burnout, or some ways that you've discovered that works for you that may work for other listeners or other people who read this post. Be sure to check out the show notes and get links to some of the things that we discussed in this episode. And if you need to catch up with me, I'm at chris@readywritelaunch.com. I'm also at Twitter at Chris Jones Inc. And Kayla, where can they find you?
You can find me over at kayladonthomas.com. If you want to email me, I'm at kayla@kayladonthomas.com. I'm also on Twitter at kayladonwrites.
Awesome. And we will see you next time. And be sure to take care of yourself.